welcome back to another exciting episode of the Indie Credible Podcast.
We're back.
We are back to talk about indie goodness.
Goodness of the Indies. It's been a crazy, wild week because, it's just been tons and tons of games. I've been in a little bit of a slower start than normal for a month because, we're like mid-month November while we're recording. And a little bit slower start for like brand new games like that. The ones that I add to my lists. It picked up this week. There's a ton. Like, I just had to pick a couple for us to talk about here, but there's a crap ton of games right now.
That's always good to hear. I haven't really been gaming as much this week. I've been very, very busy. But the cover my half, we have some really good recommendations from our community to talk about. I thought was great. I was looking at some of the trailers for that stuff, and that's on our Discord and our Facebook page. Freaking awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to he's always over in our Discord. Shoots me messages. The Disgruntled Gamer.
Yeah.
He talked about one of our older episodes with Night Slashers, and he did a big video on Night Slashers, which was pretty cool.
Good video.
Now, yeah, he was saying it definitely wasn't as great as the arcade, like we had mentioned, but he mentioned something that you weren't even tracking, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, he was I didn't even know about this, but apparently you can go in the options and it like change the graphic style and the contrast, I believe. And it does make the game look a lot better because that was honestly one of my biggest gripes. I felt like it looked like Archer. That was the way I was describing it in the last episode. It looks like Archer. Like it was just very like sharp lined animation, and it just didn't really work. Like it didn't look as good. It wasn't bad, but it just didn't look as good as like the arcade version.
Yeah. Harvey Birdman.
Yeah.
Night Slashers at Law. It's interesting just how a little bit of a change can make all of the difference. But definitely appreciate the Disgruntled Gamer for chiming in and continuing to chime in with the community. The other thing you're talking about too is the Facebook group has a ton of awesome recommendations.
Oh yeah.
Like I can't even remember like there was something posted even yesterday that was just like mind blowing. I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh. Like this is a really cool game. I would check, but my phone is being utilized for recording. So as the sun is hitting the corner of let me move that up. It's getting sunny out here. The sun is creeping up.
It's me.
But yeah, it's we have a lot of members of the community that continue to post new games, and it's pretty rad. I mean, I'm posting stuff that I've been playing, like one of the games that I'm going to talk about today. I posted about as well. People are talking about it.
Indeed, it's a growing group, and like I said, I like the fact that we get a chance to talk about games, but we also have these kind of recommendations. Like right here, I'm looking at the page right now, which folks, I'll have a link in the description on my channel when we upload the episode, so you guys can join this group in case you're in a gaming funk and you're just like, man, I don't know what to play. We got you covered. There's plenty to play. Like we had this one right now. It says new game in the works from it says it has a Wild Guns vibe from the creator of Steel Assault. Dude, Steel Assault is so good. Neon Inferno.
I knew I couldn't remember the name. Looks so cool.
This looks really, really cool. Yeah, Steel Assault is a game that I was wanting to mention in another episode, but I forgot the name of it. But that was a really, really cool game. And this right here, it has almost like a Blade Runner Strider vibe to it. I mean, there's definitely that Wild Guns flavor, and it's crazy because they're like jumping on cars. But I really love the like the animated sprites. It's really, really cool.
It's a wild game, Wild Guns, but no, it's a crazy neon infused, 90s synthesia experience. It looks so cool. I absolutely want to check it out. And those are the kind of games too. like that. As soon as they're at my alley, those get added to the list and they get added to stuff like our podcast and we talk about them, but also the Indie Gaming Gems channel too, because yeah, that stuff looks rad. That's the stuff we need to talk about.
And I love the fact that like the on the group page, just talking more about it. The folks that do contribute that show some of the games, I just love that it's like we just all had this like nucleus like palette in gaming. It's just like I go on there and it's like, someone I haven't interacted with yet, but like they post like some spiritual successor to some 2D side-scrolling game. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Really, really cool. Really cool.
Well, it's funny too because my wife, like we were I was going to GameStop to buy one of the newer Nintendo games, and she's like, "Well, you have to finish your backlog." I'm like, Andrea, like my my backlog's infinite. Like we do a podcast that literally infinitely grows our backlog. We do channels that do this. Like it's never going to be tackled. I just like to buy and experience new games, and also like I like to support the things I like. So, but it's like backlog is we are the backlog evil beings.
And you brought up something good I wanted to talk about is because GameStop's doing the whole like retro throwback thing. Like they're trying to sell retro. Did you see that limited runs now going to be at GameStop?
Oh yeah, yeah for sure. Saw that. Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, and I saw that people were saying, "Oh, they should change their name, remove the limited from it." And I'm like, they can't do that because it's their branding, it's their look. Whether they're truly limited anymore is irrelevant. Like that's the company name. The company name is limited. It doesn't matter that they're no longer limited. It doesn't matter that they don't do what they initially set out to do. Which was limited.
Yeah, that's changed. Yeah.
I mean, they grew. So what? That's cool.
Yep.
And the thing is, it's rad that we're gonna be able to, see some of these titles. Hopefully, some of the actual obscure ones make it to GameStop. That would be nice. Not just all of their IPs that they keep re-releasing. That I mean, I don't buy because I'm not interested in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. That's how if you're not interested in something that a company does, you just don't support what you're not interested in. But you still doesn't mean you don't need to, as long as, they're not doing stuff that's crazy, like unethical, illegal, or immoral, then you can support the company. They've had their ups and downs, that's for sure. It's craziness. Crazy company, man.
I still need to go to like the limited run store. It's like 2 hours away from me. I still need to go visit it. Yeah.
Well, if you ever do, I might have a list for you. Yeah, because there's some cool collector's editions because I don't stock websites. That I would love to. I mean, that's why when I created Premium, there was no like limited sectors of buying and shit.
Oh my gosh, that gives me so much anxiety. Like when anything is like a pre-order, like limited time, come and get it right now. It's steaming hot. Like, oh my God. I remember like even back with the amiibos, when the amiibos were big and I was like collecting those. I remember being at work and getting a notification being like, this amiibo, it just dropped in Italy. You can pre-order it now. So I'm like, oh man, it's going to take a while, but I need this one right now. And like limited run and all those other websites with some of their games were the same way. It was just, I get it, but it was too much anxiety for me, man. I can't do it.
It's the capitalizing on FOMO, fear of missing out. But my thing is like if the ends justify the means, like supporting independent game developers and doing stuff that I personally go with my values, then that's cool. But I didn't wait in line. There was one time I realized I think I was at a theme park with my family and I'm in line trying to get a limited Konami thing from the website. I'm like, this is silly. I would just sit. Like, I mean, and the thing is like I was also heavily collecting for Switch and doing all that. And then I'm like, you know what? The fun of the NES, the Super Nintendo, all of those is going to flea markets later on and finding them.
Exactly.
I go to conventions and stuff, like when I'm not in training, which I currently am. But I go to conventions and stuff so I can go and hunt games later. And the games will be there because people are buying them. So
exactly.
if things start to turn to where nobody's buying anything and they're not going to get produced, if if that turns, then yeah, I'll put my money where my mouth is. But for now, I'm like, I'll just hunt the games later. Sometimes it'll shoot me in the foot, and I'll have to pay hundreds of dollars or something if I really need something. But as I mentioned to my wife, my backlog is infinite. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I think can always wait for the deal. Um, and that's the cool thing about the collecting, the gaming, all of that, this whole community we're in, is that there's no true one way to do it, and it's really
Mhm.
fun. And my part is I enjoy building the community piece, and the fact that we have people talking about indie games is like the coolest thing, because then we get to like share our love for what we're doing, what we're talking about, and what we collect and play.
Yeah, and you mentioned FOMO too, and something I want to address to people is if a game's good, it's going to be timeless. So it doesn't matter if you play, and that's the thing is like, and we try to stress about the show too. Like when we talk about these indies, these aren't like some of the indies we talk about. They're not like indies that just came out. These indies may have been out for a long time,
Yeah.
but they are. But it doesn't matter if the game's like 6 years old or 6 months old. If it's a good game, it's a good game, and that's why people can go back and look at like Super Mario Brothers 3. That game's ancient compared to some of these games. People still talk about it in a very timeless fashion. So, there's like we said before, there's so many games coming out, every month. It's overwhelming, but just keep in mind, it's okay. It's okay to take a little break, play your backlog, check out the group page, you know, have a wish list.
And like the games that we cover, like we'll use a preface sometimes, but like we like to cover games that nobody's really talked about, that maybe these indie developers haven't gotten a lot of love, and we don't want them to become disenfranchised. So it's not necessarily saying that you have to purchase and spend money. We're saying support. That could be simply sharing it and talking more about it. Um,
Yep.
Over every week, I have at least a couple developers that are commenting on a video somewhere saying, "Hey, I'm glad that you brought up that there's interest in my game." Those are the cool things. Now, of course, supporting them monetarily to buy their game will support them better. However, from a community aspect, it's like any way that we can support a developer or creator, like even liking and subscribing to this, podcast in this video,
Yeah.
will help keep everyone motivated and doing the things they love. Because it's always nice to be told, "Oh, you're doing a good job." They
Or I mean, and even to find out if the like in a previous episode when we were talking about Deviator, and I found out that the dev was a YouTuber. Like he has a
Yeah.
YouTube channel, and that's another way you can support some of these folks as well. I mean, I noticed that a lot of people that are creative, like making YouTube channels or musicians or whatever, they do a lot of different creative stuff. So I mean, like a game developer may be a game developer, but he may also be like a musician. He may be an artist, or a YouTuber like Nick the Thick. And like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to check out his footage.
And with the attack of the Hollow Knight clones, Deviator was the game that you told me about that's getting an update, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's
From
getting an
from
update.
Nick the Thick, which still sounds like a porn star name. Um,
But it sticks. Nick the Thick sticks in your head.
Stick the link thick in your stick. Oh, what? Messed up. But what did I know you shared it with me? I don't recall the details of the DLC though.
I didn't get a chance to look at it myself. I just saw it pop
No.
up, and I'm like, let me show that to him real quick.
Well, if anybody is interested, comment, let us know. If you know what it is, let us know. Let's move on to talk about what we've been playing though. But that Nick the Thick style. No.
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I've been very busy, so I haven't had a chance to play a whole lot. I mean, I'm probably gonna sound like a broken record to some folks, but I've been just playing Vampire Survivors. That's my unwind game. Like when I get home from work, I put in Vampire Survivors. And the thing that I'm doing now with the game is I was just playing it and just trying to get through the stages, trying to get my fill, tip my toes in the water. Now I'm focusing on trying to unlock all the characters because you unlock someone and
I did something crazy.
you send me that picture, and I'm like, okay, I need to buckle up for this ride, So I unlocked since last time I played up, I unlocked Alucard, unlocked him, and I unlocked Simon
Yes.
Belmont. And I do like the fact that the characters you unlock have to have a certain objective to unlock them. It's not just like beat the stage. Like there's certain things you got to do, which adds just even more replayability to the game. Because then you're like, oh well, like for example, Simon Belmont, you had to completely level up the ebony, or I think it was the ebony whip. You had to completely level it up. So when I was playing that time, I'm like, all right, I need to focus on getting that, specific power up, even if I had to reroll and try to farm and get as many gems. And then, Alucard was like, oh, you got to beat your doppelganger as Trevor. So, I
Oh, I haven't done that yet.
yeah. And I'm not the biggest fan of Trevor in the game. Like, I don't like his move set as much, but I was playing with him and I'm like, I knew exactly where to go this time to get to the doppelgangers. I was like on my way, just trying to get myself powerful and work my way up the castle. But yeah, it's an amazing DLC, an amazing game.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing. So you have to do something specific to get to the throne room, and when you do, it does the cutscene. Die, monster! You don't disarm me. And then, but then the Dracula's talking because Dracula appears. He doesn't appear unless you do the certain condition. But then he does a whole new talk. He says something new, and then he joins. So you unlock Dracula, but then there's an epic freaking boss fight, and I didn't share with it, so I didn't spoil it to you, and I won't spoil it yet because it's still too new.
Yeah.
But it was super cool. Like it is epic as hell. You'll know when you unlock it, and I will just give you this. This is a PlayStation Black disc. Actually, is in it.
Oh
And the whole
my
song,
gosh.
it's so good. Like when you get to it, you will know. And I mean, I died a bunch of times trying to do it, and it was freaking cool as hell. And then as soon as I'm like, I think I made it. I sent you a picture just of credits. Never got credits on Vampire Survivors, so I consider that actually being beaten now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not really,
That
not really. I haven't even gone like to all the levels in the original one. I keep on just playing the DLC.
yeah, is that good? I mean, like I said, I now I'm wanting to unlock all the different characters because yeah, it's got so many Easter eggs. And such
It's
just crazy
crazy.
DLC is crazy. What's that?
You know what's crazy about that is like I just mentioned I haven't unlocked all the levels, right? But I've had like 30 hours into Vampire Survivors and I haven't unlocked all the levels yet. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's a good game right there.
But yeah, Vampire Survivors is such a fun game. It's an infinite game, so you'll be playing that for the rest of your life now. Welcome. It's now in existence.
Speaking of games, there was one game that you were talking about and showing me that I was really interested in that had a very Rastan Black Tiger vibe to it.
Oh yeah. So that was one that I played. It was earlier in the week, but I played. It's called Abathor. It's so interesting because yeah, like Rastan and Black Tiger is what I call the classic 90s action, not beat 'em ups, action games, platforming action arcade games. So you play them and it's not a beat 'em up because most of the characters that you fight, you can kill them with your sword pretty quickly, but you have like lots of characters that come after you. Um what I liked about this one though is that you get to continually level up your characters with money. You get to everything you kill drops some kind of like funds, and then you can, as you go through, you can like level up your characters. Um, when you go through too, there's like multiple, like four different characters you can choose from, and I'm pretty sure I could be getting this confused with a different game, but I'm pretty sure there's 4-player co-op in this. I
Wow.
think so. Pretty sure. Like I said though, I've been playing and reviewing lots of games. So if it's not 4-player co-op, everyone, let me know. But
Well, once you add the co-op in there, it's gonna have like a Kadash vibe at that point.
yeah, like
Sweet.
freaking awesome. But I chose the strong dude. Because if it's a game where you're able to kill everything with one hit. But then when you get to a boss fight, it gets tanky. It changes the way you have to approach the bosses. So I usually pick the tankiest character and then level up attack. So that way, when I get to those bosses, I can kind of cheese my way through it and continue playing through the levels. I want to say I'm in level 3, 4, somewhere in there, but each like stage has its own type of vibe and style to it.
So it is like stage based.
Stage based.
Awesome.
Awesome. It's a badass game. And that's the thing. I love my Metroidvanias. However, it's not the only genre I enjoy. And, just grabbing a palate cleanser and playing something new and something different. I had wanted to try one. So it was cool. And I still haven't jumped into any Metroidvanias as I planned. I tried, and then I ended up just going back and playing Turbo Kid some more, which I just dove into, didn't really play it too much because Turbo Kid's being published by Premium and I'm doing the guide, so I just jump in and play a little.
Do a little homework.
I just enjoying myself, remembering how the beginning of the game is too, because I haven't played the beginning in a year. So
See, and that's one of the reasons why I love having a YouTube channel because one of the worst things about me is I will play a game, I will beat it, and I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes I beat a game and it's like my mind erases. And I'm like I can't remember anything that just happened. And like sometimes I'll make a review and I'll go back and watch one of my old reviews and I'm like, oh, okay, all right. That's what I said about the game because yeah, some of them just it's like Men in Black. They just pew, you forget about
like
the game.
the reason why I write books is I have a terrible memory. So yeah, it's a wild time.
And what's interesting is because we were mentioning earlier about how some of these games, they're not necessarily new. This one that you put in the show notes, I was like, man, I haven't seen this game in a long time. I remember a long time ago listening to All Gen Gamers podcast. They had the developer on as a guest. And Battle Kid Famicom.
So Battle Kid Famicom is not Battle Kid Fortress of Peril that they covered on All Gen Gamers. This is different. This is new. So, and not new, like still probably 5 years old. But so for me, Battle Kid Fortress of Peril was the game that introduced me to NES homebrew. It was like 2008. I had just redeployed from Iraq, got back, moved out to Florida for my next assignment, and got all my collection back. And I was on a website called Nintendo Age, the Nintendo Age website, and found this whole like community of people making new NES games, programming them from scratch. And I found this game based off of I Want to Be the Guy, which was like a flash-based meme game. And essentially you have single hit deaths. You go through, you play, you die, you start over at the last checkpoint, and you keep playing through. And that was kind of the joke was you get to you only get it's Mega Man, but you get one hit to die.
But that was probably one of the first games that yeah, I was introduced to homebrew. I was just like, oh my gosh, they're making new games on old consoles, and I was really getting back into retro collecting. It was just
Yeah.
it was amazing. So yeah, that was interesting seeing that in the show notes because I hadn't read
Well,
that so long.
and like the interesting thing was is I had played that game so much, got so motivated by it that I had set records and things playing through. There was a secret boss rush mode, and Savak, who was the developer, created a competition to get the limited edition of part two when he released part two, if you could have the best time in the boss rush mode. And I beat that record. So, and I had, when I say limited edition, he made 33 copies of the original in a clamshell box. There was no boxed version of part one. And I had like number 12 or 13 of part one that I had traded somebody. Like I had traded somebody a really rare homebrew thing that I had. I wrote the NES Oddities books. I wrote the book on homebrew. It was a one of one prototype homebrew that I had. I traded them so I could have that one. Well, I got the matching number for part two from what I earned from beating the boss rush mode with the fastest time. Um, so Battle Kid Famicom. I had decided, after playing some Abathor, I wanted to fire up, and I was testing my analog pocket on my TV again, and I just wanted to play. I'm like, you know what? I haven't tried out Battle Kid Famicom. What people don't know is that Battle Kid Famicom was released years after Part 2 on the
Mm.
Famicom and was edited, was redone. This is like a remaster. And so there's like an intro like you would have in Super Metroid at the very beginning where you go through a whole station. There's and then you go into the game. There's cutscenes, there's new bosses, everything. It is a whole new way to play the original Battle Kid. I don't say it's a brand new game because the actual layouts of the world are exactly the same, but it's been so long that I forgot everything. So that's fun. Um, yeah, but essentially there's new boss battles, and he's redone some of the artwork to be up to par with Part 2. So essentially, Battle Kid Famicom and Battle Kid 2 are now the ultimate way to play Battle Kid, which is awesome. And they added 5 or 6 difficulties. So
Wow.
you can play the original Battle Kid mode where you die in 1 hit, or you can play the wussy mode where you die in like 2 hits or something. They have one where it gives you six hits.
That's like a
So
full health bar.
so I was playing it like that, and I'm like cruising through it because I had done the boss battle with the original mode, but with no hits. So like because I don't remember anything, like I don't remember the patterns anymore. I was going through it, but I was able to like get through every boss without dying because I had like 4 or 5 hits. I'm used to not getting hit at all. So like as soon as I saw the boss shooting patterns, and I'm like, oh, I could just jump through this, and then I get hit like once or twice, but I'm not dying. It was really fun though. And I think I went through and played about through half the game or something. And then it was dinner time that day. So I went and ate dinner. But it was really fun. I wanted to put it in there because I'm like Battle Kid, like the Famicom version, which I think was released on East Asia or Play Asia. I think it was by Columbus Circle was who released it. And I haven't looked recently, so there might be some gems out there. Columbus Circle does these Famicom box style NES homebrew releases, and they've done about 3 or 4 of them, at least at the last time I checked. And Battle Kid Famicom is one of the 4 or 5 that they've done. They're all excellent. They're all great homebrews done in Japan, not in the US community. So it's like a different sect than the ones that were on like the Nintendo Age forums or the NES Maker forums, NES Maker forums. Um,
Mhm.
so I need to check, now that I'm saying that, I'm like, oh, I need to check to see if Columbus Circle has any new releases. Because there's like a few companies out there, because Premium does some NES games. I love Broke Studio. Everything they release physically is awesome. And then Columbus Circle are some of the cooler NES homebrew companies out there.
Yeah, and I think this is a good little honorable mention because you're talking about breaking records here. Uh, yeah, yeah, we're going back to Questmaster
Uh,
because you had shown me a screenshot of a stage that you beat. Like what was that? Because I haven't had a chance to check it out yet.
Beats.
Oh yeah.
So, so you say you haven't had a chance to check it out. Well, now you can't check it out because you didn't see what I actually took a screenshot of. They didn't do update on Questmaster, and they are daily challenges.
Ah,
So every
another
day,
reason to get this game.
every day now, there's a new challenge. So what the latest update said was it was by the dev saying that they had the curated section that we had all noticed. He said it was very hard to maintain because he was doing the stringent testing process. So he had created something new called the daily challenges. And so I'm sure you could probably search for the level that I sent you a picture of, but there's now a new like stake post next to the main board, the quest board, and you click on it and you play a random level and everybody plays it. Um, that level that I played was literally it played the Gerudo Desert song. And all you do is you run to the right, and it just somebody made it so it does the music classic, like they would do in Super Mario Maker. It was the Gerudo Desert. But what I did was I played it a second time. I just ran to the right as fast as possible and beat it. So I got the record. So I was like, beat the record. But I was like, hey, my name's on there because I used the Hagen's Alley logo. I was like, my name's on there. That's cool. Because I hadn't beaten any record on Questmaster up to that point, so it was cool to see. So basically, and I haven't played it since, and it's been a few days, so I missed out on whatever newest quests there are. But every day they're highlighting something. I'm not sure if there's an algorithm or they're manually doing it, but there's definitely daily levels in Questmaster now, which is cool. That's cool as hell. I love when games do that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things
The sun is telling me, by the way.
I li- one of the things I like about the game though is that it does have a very active community, and these kind of games that like kind of thrive on the creativity like needs to have a good community. I mean,
Oh,
it's cool.
and it was another thing that I thought was interesting looking online is, Premium is doing a Super Dungeon Maker physical. Well, I saw that there was a partnership between Questmaster and Super Dungeon Maker doing a cross sale, and I was like, maybe because I'm not part of those conversations, maybe Premium needs to chat with Questmaster. That'd be cool as hell. I was like, dang,
Cool.
that'd be dope. I would definitely be cool doing the packaging of those games later. I haven't heard anything, but you never know. That would be dope, man.
And speaking of, you never know. You think it's good for us to go on the horizon?
Or do I talk secret bonus game?
That's right. Secret bonus game it is. Oh yeah.
So, there's been a game on every episode of the Incredible podcast that you keep telling me to play.
Oh.
And I did. What game is that, Xander Scramble? Do you know?
Is it I'm not sure if it's Infernax. Well,
I have played.
You played
I
that.
have played
Awesome.
Infernax.
I was thinking either that or the other game.
I don't know, Xander Scramble. What other game? Let's let your brain start. Yeah. The meat man's get beat up by Mike Tyson and Jake Paul's punches now.
Yeah, it's the Moon Age Guardian Moonrider. That game.
No, Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. Now,
Yeah.
you mentioned that once. You said Infernax almost every episode, so I actually finally played it, and absolutely 100%. You were right. Like, it is a game I need to play in my life. It is just like Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest Redacted, which does that game right. Infernax is like a Castlevania 2 done right, a badass game. The weird thing is, I found something that I wasn't supposed to find as early as I did, and I found a Game Genie.
What?
I found a Game Genie. I went to a book. I was able to read it, and then that's when I Googled it. There's Game Genie codes. So I can get a jetpack, a motorcycle, chainsaw. Yeah, so I'm doing this shit as a cheat bastard. It is so fun. It is so fun with the Game Genie. And you can like go to the menu when you go to the save, and there's a Game Genie thing that popped up. And now you can like toggle them on and off.
That is so cool. That is something I miss with games today. It's like I miss the good old cheat codes. I mean, I know you got mods and everything now, but just back in the day of like putting in a little combination and getting that little.
Well, it's weird. It's weird is that I had remembered something then, and apparently I had supported Infernax when it first came out.
Oh wow, yeah.
And so I looked, I was like, what about these Game Genie codes? It doesn't feel like it's the first time. They had revealed and released these Game Genie codes, I think, in the physical back in the day, and I have it. So, yeah, so there's ones that give you infinite XP and infinite coins and craziness. There's so many little crazy codes.
So cool.
But yeah, so I had not played this game in years, and I needed to. I needed to have this game in my life. So I think I have now beaten 3 or 4 or 5 bosses. Really crazy. The boss fights are cool as shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just enjoying myself, even though I have all the money because of the stupid Game Genie code. I'm just enjoying people are putting me on quests, and I'm doing the quests. So they're like, oh, go cross this bridge. And one guy was like, he said, go and break this dam. And I'm like, no. And he turned into a bad guy and I killed him. And then I went later and I saw this wall and I broke it. I'm like, oh, I broke the dam and flooded the city on accident.
Yeah, I thought That's something else that I really like about it is like I like those sense of like the decisions. Like it kind of gives you like, do you want to do this or do that? And if you do it this way, then maybe you'll have more magic later on, or you might flood the whole city, and that could change the whole like atmosphere of like shops and the way the village is and stuff. That's really cool.
It all up. It was hilarious, and nobody knew I did it. I got away with it too.
You went away with your jetpack. You're just like, see you later, suckers.
No, but I'm absolutely the one thing I'm not gonna have because I have all these little things is I don't have the familiarity with the world right now because I'm able to like jump over things that I shouldn't be able to. So I'm kind of gonna be going by the seat of my pants, which will create a new experience for me that nobody else has had because like I didn't play through it traditionally because I found this stupid Game Genie thing that I wasn't supposed to find.
That's so crazy. I'm glad you finally get to play it though, because I was just like, yeah, this game's like something you'd want to play, and it's yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%. Look how crazy that sun just got on me. Holy
yeah,
crap.
just
And I got two dogs that need attention over here. They're like jumping. Come here, come here. Like I am recording. And I'm gonna tell my wife, hey, thanks for sending the dogs out while I'm in there recording. So now they all want attention and they feel like I'm a bad guy because
maybe they just have indie games they want to talk about.
they want to talk about indie games. They get like licking their paw and pulling burrs out of their paw. So on the horizon, which one do you want to talk about first?
Well, I mean, give me one moment. Let me pull up my little notes here. Because there was a game that I saw called Smells Like a Mushroom.
Smells like a mushroom. Ridiculous. This time I actually have my tablet so I can actually look them up real quick too, which is nice. The Smells Like a Mushroom game is interesting because that was a community recommendation.
Hmm.
And it just looks like a ridiculous 3D action game to me. Like it, it says that there are boomer jokes in it, so immediately, threw me. My daughter calls me a boomer, even though we're definitely not boomers, but it's hilarious. It's like parasitic mushrooms invaded from space, spreading all over the Milky Way. Since humans are long extinct, vegetables rule the earth. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
That is insane. And I'm looking and any sort of indie game that has like a weird name, I'm always drawn to. What it kind of makes you think of looking at the screenshots. It almost makes you think about the game on the Xbox where he plays the alien. You know which one I'm talking about.
Destroy all humans.
Yeah. It's got that kind of vibe to it. It's like a 3D,
Yeah,
three room kind of shooting game. Looks cool.
did. Yeah, it's like a 3D, it's what it says here. It's a third person platform shooter, which I love those type of games. I'm not sure if it is open world like the Destroy All Humans is though.
Hmm.
So that I don't know. I do know it's a third person action platformer, which is really fun. Those are always fun to play. There was another third person action platformer I played. It's called Squirrel with a Gun. It was ridiculous.
I saw that pop up on PlayStation 5 during the Black Friday sale. I saw that pop up and I was like, scroll with a gun. Okay, I might want to try that. There was another game like that. There's another game that's like this as well that I saw pop up on Instagram called Wanted Raccoon. And and it's pretty much like the same sort of like goat simulator thing. You play as a raccoon and you go through trash. And after a while you can like start building an army of raccoons that just terrorize people. So, and of
Give
course,
skins.
yeah, and of course you can skateboard because why not? I love
Interesting.
those games.
Interesting.
And this game also on the horizon it's also on Switch. I want to have to check this out because I like this. It's Keeper's Toll.
Yeah, Keeper's Toll is another by the same person, like community recommendation. This one almost looks like your favorite Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
But there's like from the screenshots, and I haven't played it yet. From the screenshots, though, it looks like there's a lot of 2D like platforming vibes in there.
Yeah,
Which is
it looks real. This looks like a game I would want to live stream. Like
yeah,
I
And there's chaos going on, so it'd be fun as a live stream. Like, it just looks insane. Looks like you have about 6 characters you can choose from, which, that's the one thing with Vampire Survivors. There's like 15 million now. It's just insane.
There's a lot of characters.
Yeah, 100% looking at one of the little videos right now, though. It's definitely, just like an overhead view, but there's like corridors, which make it look platformer. So I'm not sure if there's any there probably isn't. It's probably more Vampire Survivors and corridors fighting tons of there's a lot of big bosses in this one, which that's what really piqued my interest from the community. So 100% great for streaming on the Xander Scramble channel.
Indeed. And
yeah.
Well, are you going to mention the next one? That's what I was going to do. I was going to mention this game, the Little Adventure. I didn't really get the chance to check this out. Little Big Adventure.
The Little Adventure. Twin Sen's Quest is what it's called. The Little Big Adventure. So when you call something Little Big, you're thinking Little Big Planet.
That's what I was thinking at first. Yeah.
But why I added this one to the list, this is one that was added in my weekly finds, was because it has the vibes of like Tunic. The like level layouts look very picturesque, like a Tunic, which I thought was an amazing game, amazing experience. I'm hoping this one looks very cozy. So I'm hoping that it's not as brutally challenging as Tunic was, because you had to learn Tunic. Like Tunic, you die a lot. I'm hoping this one is more cozy as the vibe looks. But it looks like a badass game.
Yeah, that was one that I watched a trailer for, and it's got like a really interesting art style. Like, it's very shapy. Like, everything's very dimensional and
shapy.
It's very shapy. I was like, man, this is kind of cool. I do like the color palette too. Like you said, it does have that cozy feel to it because it's very pastel-y.
Yes,
pastel-y and shapy.
The pastel-y and shaper. Man, I'm getting fried out here. It's awesome. So hot out here in the winter. Like, if I move this, I just die because the sun just pivoted. I did this to us the other day. Now, apparently now the wife is out, so I can move in the house if I need to. Or are we gonna call it for an episode? That's the question. Or do we got more to talk about?
We got some. We can go through some quick community recommendations because there was one that I saw that I was like, oh man, this is what I'm gonna have to get this one because I love my shmups.
What was this shoot 'em up one? Because I didn't look up these ones.
Rain Chaser.
Rain Chaser. So go ahead, Rain Chaser Scarlet. Go ahead and talk to me about Rain Chaser.
It's a shmup. I mean, like it's got that,
it's a shoot 'em up.
Yeah, it's got the spaceships, it's got anime cutscenes, it's got an awesome soundtrack. I will say the way the perspective is, it's definitely in that classic shmup. So it does have that weird perspective where when I was first watching, I was like, is this on the DS? Because I hadn't seen that kind of perspective in a while. But
interesting.
But yeah, it's very Truxton Crisis One.
So it has that bar like it does in the classic arcade games for the vertical games.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool as hell. Yeah, I just had to move out of the sun. I was frying here, guys. I let the dogs in so they stopped jumping at me too. But yeah, no, that's cool as hell. So it has that Truxton vibes. Like, is there can you tell about any of the power ups or anything from the trailer?
It just looked like super awesome explosive pixels. Like, I mean, it's one of those games that like I don't feel like it doesn't like stick out. It does what it does well. This is like a meat and potatoes.
It does well.
Yeah, it's got that meat and potatoes kind of schmuck.
It's got meat and potatoes vibes. Like, oh yeah, eat some meats and potato. No, it's just so it just has the classic shoot 'em up factor. Yeah, they were saying. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. It looks really, really nice. I was like, I'm gonna have to put this on because it is on the Switch. I'm like, oh, we already have to check this out for sure.
There we go. Now I am out of the sauna.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Out of the sauna into the house. Since my wife is up, she has no excuses to sleep. But yeah, so that one sounds cool. That one is called, you said Scarlet?
Yes, it's Rain Chaser Scarlet.
Rain Chaser Scarlet. Sounds cool as
It's
hell.
cool. I was gonna say it's a great name.
Yeah, the thing is that the older I get, probably because I'm an old boomer, as my daughter calls me, but the older I get, the more I have to have like a cool like gimmick or hitch to play my shoot 'em ups now. Like I
Yeah.
used to play all the shoot 'em ups, but then like eventually like stuff has to stick out and really connect with me.
No, I agree. It has to. I mean, it starts to kind of be a little samey after a while.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
even like because I went through spurts where I was like with my shmups where I was just like, man, I loved, this classic top down space shooters. Then I got into the cute 'em ups, the little cute shooters like Parodius.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, I like games that have like a little gimmick like that, like with even if it's like something like we saw with UFO 50, where it was just like instead of a bomb, it was like a Polaroid picture that froze time. I thought that was a unique enough mechanic that I was like, man, this is kind of like any other shooter in the grand scheme of things, but it's got its own identity in that sense. So that's always
So you mentioned is Rain Chaser Scarlet, right? What is the original? Because I looked it up and there's a Rain Chaser. So is Scarlet like a special edition or?
it. That's a good question. It maybe that's the console version. Maybe it started off in Steam as our Rain Chaser. Sometimes they do that, kind of like how they did with Gunlord. When Gunlord came out, the consoles,
Okay.
they changed it to like Gunlord X.
Yeah. Yeah, because it just shows like it's to be announced and all that, which is really dope. So that's cool. Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Another
Mhm.
really fun one that I liked was Enigma of Fear. I watched a
No.
tra I watched a trailer of this, and the best way I can describe it is Octopath Traveler meets Resident Evil.
Really?
Yeah, it's got that 3D, 2D art style that,
Oh yeah.
awesome. It's awesome. It is so cool. And it is looks very survival horror-esque. Like it's got the Resident Evil kind of Silent Hill vibe to it. I'm like, man,
Oh, that's wild. I'm looking at it now and it looks like if you would take those square style RPGs that you just plopped the characters into a Resident Evil game.
yeah. You know what it made me think? It made me like, man, I would love to see, something like Sweet Home or something in this style. Like that's what it made me think of. I was like, that's really, really cool. Like it's
Yeah, I would like to see more games like that now. Ooh,
mm-hmm.
crazy. I mean, there is an indie game that does something similar, but not in the 2D, 3D, 5D, 27D version. And that is, the Sunshine Anthology, which is Camp Sunshine, Sunshine Manor that Premium did. Those are completely drawn pixel art, but they are the 3D style and they're Resident Evil-y. So those
Yes,
games,
that's awesome.
dude. And then like your the final one from the community that you put in here. This one looks crazy.
Yeah. Dice Gambit.
Dice Gambit. What the heck is this? This is ridiculous.
I was like, it's like Hades with dice. But it was show notes.
Heck is this?
It looks like a lot of fun. It has, the dice mechanics for various different things and the top down. I'm not sure if it's a roguelike or not. I didn't get a chance to look into that.
It says it's more of a turn-based tactics and a strategy RPG, stylized RPG is what it says.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, I really like Dicey Dungeon. So
Dicey Dicer. Dicer.
yeah, I like Dicey Dungeon, and that was a very, turn-based, RPG style game. More of a roguelike, but
Oh.
this looks like a lot of fun. It does.
Well, my thing is that when it comes to these strategic and tactical games, I'm not a fan unless it draws you in quickly. Because like if it just ramps up the difficulty too quickly before I can learn the intricacies of the mechanics, I don't get interested because I don't have hundreds of hours to pour into it to learn. But
if it hooks you initially and makes it easy to get into, I may spend hundreds of hours afterwards. So it's one of those things where depends on how balanced the game is. And I mean, the game looks amazing.
It really does. Yeah.
Makes me want to check it out. So if I play it and I'm like, oh, it's already, I got to do hundreds of every battle takes 2-3 hours. I'm turned off because yeah. But if it's like quick paced roguelike mechanics where it's like not the roguelike mechanics, but from Hades where you continue to upgrade things, that would be fun. That's the hook. But that's what it looks like. So I'm hoping that's exactly what it does.
Indeed.
Crazy, man.
So many games.
Infinite games. And these games weren't on my radar because they're from the community side. So it's cool as hell because those are ones that I may have to add to the lists, the infinite lists of infinity.
I'll definitely have to check them out live streaming. One thing that would be really cool as well. Like do some blind interact, like some blind plays of these games. Like, oh man, this was recommended. Boom, we'll go ahead and play it. Let's go.
But yeah. So go back to episode 1 with our playing setups. I actually got something in the mail finally that has upgraded my playing a bit. I was having issues syncing controllers for my indie games with my Lenovo Legion Go that I play with. I got this in the mail.
What?
Because the Legion Go is because there's a million handhelds now, man. Because it's just a thing. I bought a 3D printed those Joy-Con controllers that pop off. This actually plugs into it. It makes an ergonomic controller, so I can literally just pop it onto here, and then I have like a Switch Pro controller type of doohickey.
That's awesome.
So then I can play it because the issue isn't that it doesn't work when you plug in third-party controllers, because it does. It's a Windows machine. It's that with the combination of Steam and Xbox, the mapping on the controllers are sometimes weird. And because the Legion Go, those Joy-Cons are on it, it defaults as number 1 all the time. So it's a constant thing where instead of just battling it, I just pop them off, put them onto this thing, and it makes my life a lot easier. Because the controller's amazing. It's very well done, and it even has a little trackpad on it and stuff where you can move around the mouse, just like the Steam Deck. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so this right here, this little doohickey, I've been waiting a few weeks for it to come in because somebody just 3D prints and makes them. It's a little cheap item on Etsy, but they don't like carry stuff like this at a Walmart or a Best Buy or so I had to like buy it on Etsy because it's something special that I need. But yeah, that was a little thing that I just got in for my setup that now will help me with playing my indie titles, which is great. So I'm playing Infernax though on these actual Steam Deck, which is that's a different beast. That's fun. Yeah, I think is it time to roll it up.
Let's roll it.
Roll. Well, everybody, appreciate you all listening, and as always, we got the actual roll up wrap up here at the end. But the Complete Genesis is still going strong at the time of this recording. There is Slacker backers, late backer options open for some of the items. So definitely check it out, and definitely go over to Hagen's Alley. I got a bunch of books on sale too right now, which is awesome. And some of them will continue to be on sale after Black Friday, just as a way to say thanks to the community for supporting everything that we do. Thank you, everyone, for checking out this episode of Indie Credible. There we go. Make sure you follow us. We have lots of stuff going on every week on YouTube on Fridays, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you check out Indie Gaming Gems. That is the structured review/preview series about 10 indie games you may not have heard of.
And you can check me out, Xander Skullion, across the board. I kept it real simple for you guys. You can check me out on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. And, on my channel, I cover a little series called Play and Tell, where I talk about games I've been playing, leave little short impressions, mini reviews, and most importantly, when you walk away, you have something new to play. So you can check out my Play and Tell series. I also have some reviews that I put out every once in a while, and a live stream, which I'm really trying to commit and have a dedicated schedule. So that's more important that you hit the bell so you're notified whenever I'm live, because you never know. I might be live right now.
Yes, he's always live. Oh, always. And then, of course, I have all of my books at HagensAlley.com. You could check out. I've had like dozens of books published. I try to upload and keep things up to date with the latest reviews, the latest books up there, but they have to be in hand. So if you follow me on social medias, you'll see when the newest Kickstarter goes live, the backer kit goes live, the newest crowdfunding thing is going live. And as soon as you become a backer, there's updates that go out all the time. So we're always working on new books and new series and new things. Of course, upcoming, coordinated with this podcast, will be Indie Gaming Gems, which will be coming out next year sometime. It'll be fun time here for us in the indie gaming world.